Only so much can be done inside of Apex triggers, and if you're still relatively new to Apex, it's important to know that solutions exist for much more demanding requirements. In this module, I'll provide some tips on how to decide when it's time to change the architecture of object transactions and the Salesforce org at large from the standpoint of code and automation more broadly. There are tools to accomplish solutions to problems that are too large and too complex for Apex triggers to handle. For instance, when should a future method be used versus a queuable job? We'll look at this and other asynchronous cases. Batch Apex is sometimes a popular go-to solution for some environments or organizations, but we'll examine why you should really avoid using Batch Apex if you can avoid it. There are times when Batch Apex is ideal, of course, and I'll examine both cases. More often, though, we'll consider chaining together queuable jobs or using asynchronous Apex triggers driven by change data capture events. The advantage to using these instead of Batch Apex is that they can process data in smaller chunks, on demand, and in near real time when criteria is met, as opposed to having to wait for a scheduled batch job to run, for instance. A quick note on the material I'm about to cover, and something you should know as I press forward. This course does not do a deep evaluation of asynchronous Apex. This course is here to give you a high-level overview of considerations for when you'll want to move logic into asynchronous activities, including running code off-platform. But I'll not be covering every facet of async techniques here. For Apex in particular, try Getting Started with Asynchronous Apex on Force.com, another course I've authored here on Pluralsight, which covers in depth the primary techniques for asynchronous Apex: future methods, queuable jobs, scheduled Apex, and batch Apex. This module is supplemental to that existing course, explores an example of queuable jobs that is separate from that course, and will examine change data capture and event-driven Apex triggers, which are a little bit newer on the platform and highly practical the same way that future methods and queuable jobs are. I'll be showing an example of Apex event triggers here in this module. If you haven't worked with any of the asynchronous Apex techniques before, I recommend going through this module first and then consider moving on to the course I've referred to here and explore other courses in the Pluralsight catalog. With that said, let's think about how we manage object transactions and limits across the overall big picture of solutions in the next clip on analyzing compute expenses.